We are continuing our coverage of the upcoming state primaries this week, and this week we've been speaking with candidates who are running unopposed in their race, and that includes Incumbent District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer. She's spent a great deal of time serving Kern County for the last 35 years, and she's joining us live this morning to talk about some of the issues concerning the county. So good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So there have been a lot of staffing shortages across all sorts of industries lately, and we wanted to ask you about how that is impacting your work within the judicial system here.
Well, we have a lot of different types of employees at the district attorney's office. We have attorneys, clerical staff, we have a crime lab, we have a police department within our department, the Bureau of Investigation. Most of our units are fully staffed, but we have challenges in some of our units. I will tell you that the prosecutors are working very hard because their caseloads are higher. So that is how it has impacted us, that we're just working a lot harder than I think perhaps we have in the past.
And do you have any ideas for kind of helping maintain timely court proceedings in light of that extra workload?
It has not affected timely court proceedings. We have not asked for continuances or delays. As a matter of fact, during the pandemic, we came to work every day and continue to push our cases forward.
So definitely still working hard despite all of that.
Yes.
And do you have any ideas for recruiting more employees and then also retaining those workers?
Yes, we're trying to get the word out on social media and the intranet about what a wonderful place the Kern County District Attorney's Office is to work. We're going to be shooting a video today, as a matter of fact, but we are trying to get more and more aggressive regarding reaching out to law schools, and then the local law school has been a wonderful source of employees for us.
We've spoken a lot with candidates in other races about specifically shortages with law enforcement.
Yes.
And so do you have any ideas for working specifically both with KCSO and BPD to kind of fix that same problem of staffing shortages?
Well, the recruitment and retention of law enforcement has been a problem throughout the country, not just in Kern County. A lot of young people are not choosing law enforcement as their occupation for a variety of reasons. The civil unrest that occurred a couple of years ago didn't help in the way law enforcement was depicted, and some of the ways that people were, defund the police and different things. But we work very closely with law enforcement. Our Bakersfield Police Department, Kern County Sheriff's Department, and all the other agencies in Kern County, we work closely with them. They're all excellent agencies, and we're just very proud of the relationship that we have with them in trying to bring guilty people to justice.
And the story that we were just talking about that just aired before our interview was all about KCSO working to just strengthen its ties with our community members. And so obviously some of those efforts were already being done. And do you have any ideas for our law enforcement to just kind of further strengthen its relationship with our community members?
Well, the sheriff, the police chief, myself, people in my office, we try very hard to interact with the community because we can't do this alone. We have many good people in the community that want to help, and so I think it's important to have community partnerships.
Absolutely. So you as district attorney work with lots of state lawmakers and politicians, and so we wanted to ask, do you have any plans for working with politicians who may have different viewpoints from you as we go into this next year?
Well, I think that the representatives in the California legislature from Kern County represent us very well. They are from both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, and they are pro-law and order, generally speaking. As far as all the other issues that they may talk about water or this or that, that's not really what I do. I am for public safety, and so we work very well with them. Do I agree with everything of everyone from Kern County? No, but I can tell you that our biggest challenge for law enforcement is the legislation that is made in Sacramento and signed by the governor, because it makes it much, much harder for us to do our job.
All right, well, we are going to take a quick break here, but right after that, we'll get back into our conversation with District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer, so stay with us. We are continuing our coverage of the upcoming state primaries, continuing our conversation with District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer, talking about some of the main issues that Kern County is facing. And right before the commercial break, you mentioned some of the bigger issues that we've seen, and so we were wondering if there are any upcoming projects or policies or just ideas you have for improving our community.
Well, our priority is the prosecution of violent crime, homicides and sex crimes. And I'm so proud of the employees in our office and the work that they have done in the last 3.5 years in holding the guilty accountable. We aggressively prosecute these types of crimes, and we've had tremendous success in court with some of our big verdicts that you have seen in some of the high-profile cases. We continue to try to do better through the use of technology. We have a crime lab where we have DNA, ballistics, and we continue to get better and better employing new technology. Videos from out in the community, from gas stations to people's doorbell cameras. We're using more and more video. And then, of course, body cameras from law enforcement are helping us solve crimes. We will never stop working on cold case homicides. We've had some tremendous success with that. And it is our priority. Another priority is making sure that victims in rural communities are protected. And so that is a big priority. It's not just about Bakersfield, it's about North, South, East, and West Kern County and some of the smaller communities. We want them to feel that we will stand up for their rights as well.
What would you say is your signature issue going into this next year?
Well, it has to be the continuation of the prosecution of violent crime. That has to be our priority, no matter last year or this year or the coming years. But specifically, what we're going to focus on is a family justice center that we're opening in Lamont in order to service vulnerable people in the South Kern area. We're focusing on human trafficking, which is a big problem here in Kern County. Children are victimized, and we are really trying to work on that, in addition to continuing to improve our efficiency with going digital and rather than going paperless. So that is something that's a cost savings, but we are going to continue to do our best, deal with what Sacramento hands us. We don't make the law, but we follow it. And we will work aggressively and do the very best we can to protect the citizens of Kern County. This is a wonderful county. We want people to come here, live here, raise their children here, and we want them to feel safe here.
Well, District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time joining us this morning.
Thank you.
For full election coverage, you can go to our website, turnto23.com. Now,